Hey, what's up guys? How you doing? Sorry for the dark background. It's currently nighttime and it's really dark, so it's just gonna be dark. Don't worry, I'll film more videos during the daytime. But the reason I created this video is because I was looking up how to do some probability modeling in Excel for one of my classes, but I couldn't figure out how to do it because there were not many helpful tutorials on YouTube. And I finally figured out how to do it for my classes with the help of one of my teachers over at the university, and there was no information online on how to do it, so I decided to go ahead and put up a video on how to do it so you guys could just have that for you. It's really helpful, it's really cool, I like it a lot. So if you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and like, subscribe, comment. I'll be bringing more helpful information to you guys in the future, so thanks, enjoy. Hey, what's up guys? Today I have a different kind of tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how to create a statistics probability model using Excel. Now that might sound a little complicated at first, but the truth is what you're really doing is you're just repeating a trial multiple times, and you could calculate the probability of something occurring. Now in this video I'm going to be doing it with a dice, and we're going to be calculating the probability of a dice rolling a largest number. So how this works is we're going to have two dice, and out of the two dice we're going to roll the dice. We're not going to add the numbers up or anything, but we're going to go ahead and just pick the largest number out of those two dice, and then we're going to see what the probability of each number appearing is. So 1, how many times is that going to appear every time we roll the dice? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many times is 6 going to appear? And we're going to do that with two dice, and we're just going to pick the largest number and then ignore the other number with that. And with this, we're going to do 1,000 trials. And you know, we don't want to roll the dice 1,000 times. So how do we do that in Excel? That's what I'm going to show you today. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and make our Excel file look a bit better here. Probability, don't know how to spell, of two dice. No, probability of numbers with two dice rolled. So what that's basically saying is it's just the title, and it's the probability of each number appearing with only two dice rolled, and we're assuming that we're going to pick the largest number out of the two dice. So how do we simulate dice in Excel? It's actually pretty easy, it's not that difficult. So let's go ahead and write two dice, and this is going to be these two cells right here are going to be our simulation of dice. So this is going to be equals rand between, and that's basically picking a random number in between two, the number range that you specify. So bottom and top, so I'm going to be 1 and 6 because the dice we have is has 6 sides. It's a square, you know, it has 6 sides. So there we go. So it gives us a random number between 1 and 6. And how are we going to make it refresh? Well, you just press F9 and it just keeps refreshing, and it just makes a new trial. So we have one dice there, and actually we can just copy that over. So now we have two dice. And every time you press F9, these values change. So there's our dice. So how do we pick the largest number? Easy. Equals max, and we're gonna put the range in between these two. So B5 colon C5, and that's it. So every time these numbers roll right here, and it's every time we press F9, this cell right here is going to pick the largest value out of these two. So there we go. So we have a 5 here, we have a 6 here, it picked 6. So there we go. So we're rolling two dice, and we're picking the largest number. So 6 appeared once, so we can give a tally to 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, whoops, 5, 6. So, I mean, 6 was rolled once, so we can give 6 a tally. Let's roll it again. 5 is the largest number. Let's give 1 to 5. 4 was the largest number. Let's give 1 to 4. 1 was the largest number. Let's give 1 to 1. Okay, now 5 again. So you can see how this can get pretty tedious, and it's really time consuming to just keep rolling and rolling and rolling, and we just want Excel to do all the work for us. Now, how do we do that? Let's go ahead and clear this. Now, it's actually it's simple, but it's complicated. The process is a bit more complicated than you might expect. So what we have to do is use a what-if analysis within Excel. And to do that, we have to use it in a different way. We're going to use the data part of it, but it's used kind of differently in here, and it's kind of a discrete method, and it's not something that you're usually going to use what if analysis for. For what if analysis, you're probably going to have like a data table like this, and then you're going to have a corresponding data table probably like this. So maybe these are percentage gains, I don't know, 10, 20%, 10, 20, 30%, and then these are like 1, 2, or 3, maybe compounded. For the what if analysis, you would use this, and then these numbers right here, they would automatically fill in. But for we're going to be using a what if analysis to replicate trials. So it's literally just going to roll this, and then we're going to display all the data down there, and we're just going to keep replicating that. So to do that, we're going to have to select one column here, and it can be any column. Just make sure that there's nothing in there. So the column here, let's go ahead and copy the value of the large number right there. So we're going to do that. So basically it's just referencing this cell right here, which is the maximum of those two, okay? So it's always going to be the same number right there. So this is going to be our trial run. It's crazy, it's kind of weird, don't ask why, but this is what you have to do. You have to highlight the column beside it, and then go down as many rows as you want trials. So for example, right here we have, we have 18, 19, 20 rows highlighted, so that's going to be 20 trials, so it's going to roll the dice 20 times. But since this is going to be a pretty large statistics model, we're going to go ahead and make it thousands of rows. So I'm just going to go ahead and take thousands of rows. That's what we're going to do. So we have 100, 200, you can see in the corner right there, 300 rows, 400 rows, 800, 900, 1,000. Okay, I don't know exactly how much that was, but that's around 1,000 rows. So that's going to be 1,000 trials. So keep that highlighted and make sure you're highlighting the column beside it also. And what you need to do is, I'm just going to format it. Let's give it a light gray background right there. Now to do this, go to Data, What If Analysis, Data Table, and don't put anything in for the row input cell, but put in a random cell that you're not using for the column input cell. Like any cell, just make sure it's super obscure. So for example, I can use AAA1, and that's like a lot of rows down there. So I'll just do AA1 actually, since we're not going to be using that. So AA1, I mean, you can use Z1, you can use anything. Just make sure it's a cell that you're not using, since we're giving it a blank reference there. So put that in, press OK, and it's going to replicate that trial 1,000 times. So what this is basically doing is taking this and pressing it about 1,000 times. I don't know how much it was. About 1,000 times, and then displaying the results right here for you. So now we have all of our trials right here. So you press F9, literally all of them are refreshed. So now what can we do with this? What can we do with all these trials we just created? Well, we can create a frequency table. And a frequency table is basically going to show us how many times these numbers appear in our trials. So I'll show you how to do that real quick. So basically just take a column, number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for our dice trial. And we do have 6 here, but actually for the frequency table, we're not going to use that yet. So just do it 1 to 5. So how many subtract it by 1. So I've got 6 options in our trials. Make sure you subtract it by 1. So I'm putting in 5 here. Now what you're going to do is go to the column beside it, highlight 6 rows, not 5. Highlight the 6 rows, and then type in equals frequency, parentheses, and then highlight your entire data table here, all your trials, so all the way down to the ground. Okay, so it looks like I have 1,029 trials. Okay, so I just highlighted all those cells, and then now I'm going to give the frequency equation our choices. Now, how frequency works is it counts up all the choices, and then also has an extra bin for an extra spot right here. It would be the 6 right here for anything that wasn't 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And that's why we didn't put a 6 in there, because that's how frequency works. So we're going to go ahead and highlight 1 to 5, and then for the last cell right there, it's going to calculate everything that wasn't 1 to 5, and that's basically the 6. So it's going to calculate all the 6s there, and that's why we're doing that. So don't press enter yet. Put a parentheses. So make sure you've got it exactly laid out like this. Now what's really important here is you don't press enter. Do not press enter. Enter is not going to work for this formula, but to make this work, you can't press enter. You've got to press Control, Shift, and then enter. And to do that, and now it displays all the results. So make sure there's all the cells highlighted and not just this one cell when you're typing in frequency. So if I typed in frequency in this cell like this equals frequency, no, you can't do that. You've got to type in frequency within all the cells right there. So equals frequency like that. It's kind of weird. You've got to deal with it, but that's how it works. So now we can put in the 6 here. It's not part of the formula, but we can put it in there. And now we've got our statistics model. And look at that. That's how it works. So what this is basically saying is okay, so if we got 2 dice, okay, I'm going to explain to you the entire model. We've got 2 dice and we're rolling it. Out of each roll, we're picking the largest number. And we want to replicate that trial 1,029 times. I have 1,029 rows. So we're replicating that trial 1,029 times. Then we're calculating how many times 1 appears in these 1,029 trials, how many times 2 appears in these 1,029 trials, and so on and so on. So for example, 6 appears 319 times in this trial. What can this data tell us? Well, let's make a chart. Let's go to Insert, Recommended Charts. Make sure you select your data here. So this is our little small chart data that we're doing. So click Recommended Charts. And I mean, it just gives us a bar chart that's really informational and could be really helpful. So you can see how our model works here. If we have 2 dice, this is what our statistics probability distribution looks like. 1 appears only 16 times, 2 appears only 103 times, 3, 145, 4, 200, 5, 246, and 6, 319 times. So you can visualize the entire probability distribution within this model by using Excel and not having to replicate each trial. Now you can also press F9 to refresh these results, and actually the chart refreshes with the results as well. So you can press F9 and you can see the results. They keep changing, but in general they're going to be around the same. Now to make these results more accurate and changeless, just put in more trials. That's what you have to do. Just put in more trials. I put in 1,029 trials, so they're fairly accurate, but if I put in, for example, 100 trials, this chart would fluctuate wildly because I would only have 100 trials, and that would not be a good sample set of models. So yeah, that's how you do it, guys. That's how you create a probability distribution model within Excel. I hope you liked the video, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.